Bear with me, I'm just setting up. Hi, Mum. Hi, Stuart. So we've got a couple of minutes. Hi, moi moi. You do need to learn to spell, Stuart. So it's 5:29. I might just get started. Probably got 30 seconds. My connection's not very good today by the looks of it. So I'm Caroline Whitehorn, Stonehenge Osteopath. We're going to do some movements which are suitable for older people. They're low intensity. It's just to keep things flexible and keep you moving and comfortable down the kids. Okay, thanks. Wrong group of people. Right, so if we're standing, we're going to start with a slightly different move. We're not going to do the snow globe today. You're going to put your hands behind your head, if you can get your hands up to there. If that's uncomfortable, but you can get your hands on your shoulders, then do that. But you're just going to circle your elbows in the air and get things moving through your low back and your upper back. Can feel a bit stiff through your thoracic spine, especially if you've been sat at a computer for any length of time today. Then you're going to just turn left to right, get things moving through your upper back. You might hear some pops and clicks, I can. And then back to circling. Okay, so that just gets things moving, going forwards. Might be some noises that make you think, oh, what's going on there? But as long as it's not painful, that's fine. So none of the exercises I do should bring on any new symptoms. They should not make you more uncomfortable. You may feel a little bit of tension or a little bit tight, that's fine. As long as you don't get any other symptoms or it doesn't bring on any particular pains you already have. So you're just going to work on the neck. So if you're looking over your right shoulder, again, so as I've said before, you may feel a bit of stiffness, a bit of tightness. That's fine, as long as you don't feel pain. If you feel pain, come off that pressure a little bit and just have your head slightly less rotated. You're just going to hold it for a count of 3, just a couple of breaths. And as you're stood here, a little bit of tension through your lower abs, just to keep you upright and stable. And you're going to come forward and then turn your head to the left. So you may find one side slightly more stiff than the other, a bit more uncomfortable. That's very common. Won't particularly worry about it. And looking forward, a side bending and side bending. Side bending is quite a movement that goes quite quickly because it's made up of several different moves. Oh, I thought somebody was asking something. Okay, so we are going to move on to strengthening. So I meant to say at the beginning and I forgot. Have your tins, dumbbells or 2 tins We are going to do these exercises stood up because I think we're going to push it a little bit. We've done quite a few sitting. So standing with your tins in your hands, you are going to do shoulder press. So we're just going to lift those tins above your head. As you're doing that, you want a little bit of tension through your lower abs. And you're going to do a repetition. If you can bring the tins together above your head, that's great. Just so you hear a little bit of a clank, but not too much. A little bit of tension in your lower abs. And we're aiming for 10. I'm dreadful at keeping count, so I've no idea how many I've done. I'm going to say 8, 9, 10. You can do it without tins if you prefer. So I'm doing the middle level because I'm going to use tins. I'm not going to use dumbbells, but if you've got dumbbells or any sort of weights that you're comfortable using, or bands, you can use bands as well. So the second exercise is going to be a front raise. So we've just worked top of the shoulder, top of the upper back. We're now going to work front of the shoulder and the top of the pectoral muscles. So you're just going to keep your arms straight, back of the hands going to the ceiling, and you're just bringing your hands up to shoulder height and down. And up to shoulder height and down. I'm going to do a repetition of 10 and keep your lower abs a little bit tight so you have some tension through your, what we call your core. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to move on to lateral raise. So now we're working the top of the shoulders and coming down into the arm. So tins facing forward, back of the hands towards the ceiling. Just go up to shoulder height. 4, 5, 6. Keep your lower abs, a little bit of tight tension through there. So we're working several muscle groups at the same time. Lots of muscles in your upper back and torso. I think that's 10. I've lost count again, sorry. I can't think and talk. I do it all at the same time. So you put your tins in repetitions of each. Nothing should be particularly painful. You may feel a little bit of stiffness and tightness, but hopefully afterwards you'll feel more mobile and more comfortable. So now we're going to move over to the worktop. So standing side onto the worktop, use the worktop for balance. Head nice and tall, tension through your lower abs. We're going to work your lateral glutes, so the bottom muscle. So if Katie's watching, this is what you need to be doing, okay? So this is going to help work your gluteal muscles and strengthen you around the pelvis. So tension through your abs, lower abs, you're bringing your foot out to the side and you're coming out and back. So I don't want you doing forward because that's a whole different muscle group. I want you coming backwards. And make sure when you do it, you're not doing this with your body. That isn't the exercise. You're keeping your body tight and it's just coming out to the side. Okay, so we're aiming for 10. I think I've done about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you change sides. So again, get yourself nice and tall, standing straight, lower abs, a little bit of tension. And you're going to bring your leg out and back. So you're moving out at an angle behind you, keeping your body upright. That's 10. Okay, so as you're standing, and we're working on balance and strength. So we've worked through hips, always keeping the lower abs, a little bit of tension, but you should be able to breathe comfortably when you're doing a workout. Standing side onto you, we were doing the other day facing the worktop, but let's challenge you a little bit. So just use the worktop for some support. Again, nice and tall, and you can do 2 feet. So if we have nice strong calves and ankles, that helps support you for balance and stability and reduce the risk of falling and really hurting yourself. And also sometimes if people have had sprained ankles in the past or any weakness in their ankles, try this on one leg. It just helps develop those muscles that give support and stability to the ankle. Maybe may help you feel a bit stronger through that. And then change feet. So I would do 2 together to warm up and do up to 5, and then do 5 to 10 on single legs. What you'll probably feel is you get a bit of a burn in the calf muscle as you're doing it. That's not unusual, that's quite a good sign. That shows you're working that muscle group. Okay, so now we're going to move to the floor. I'm just going to lower the couch down. Okay, so if we're taking place on the floor, again, Katie, if you're watching, this is the other one I was on about. So taking all four, position of all four hands on the, I can't speak. Take a position of all fours on the floor. So hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips, and about hip width apart. You're going to keep your hands in touch with the floor. Okay, so you're going to lift your foot towards the ceiling. And you're basically bringing your sole of your foot to the ceiling. So this is working low back and gluteal muscles. You'll have a bit of balance thrown in here as well because you're working your core to keep you stable. So I would do 5 of those because I'm going to add a couple of other slightly different exercise on. So as you're lifting your foot up, if you're comfortable in that position, now bring your knee towards your chest. So you're curling through your back and then lifting your foot up to the ceiling. So that just gets the thoracic spine involved. Then change sides. So you may find if you want to do up to 5 in the first place with just bringing your foot to the ceiling, and then another 5 if you can do 5, or build up gradually, just do a couple and then bringing your knee towards your chest. So we're going to go to the other side, the other leg. So bringing your foot to the ceiling, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to bring your knee to your chest as when you've brought your knee back down from the ceiling. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's a very good one, focused on the low back and your gluteal muscles. Alright, so moving on from strength to stretching. So we're going to lie down on the back. You're going to bring your knees up to your chest, hold around the back of the thighs, and bring your knees towards your chest. You should feel a little bit of tension maybe through your low back, especially if you've been doing any gardening, long walks, or sat at a computer. A little bit of discomfort. Just hold it there, and then you should feel after about 15-20 seconds it relaxes into that place. Then you're going to put your feet flat on the floor. Let your knees, I'm going to bring my knees towards you. Bring your knees over so your knees are up to the side. You're going to turn your head away from your knees. So this is stretching out through your thoracic spine and your lumbar spine. You hold for 15-20 seconds. And bring your knees back up and do the other side. So bring your knees together, head facing away from your knees. So today we're going to do pelvic tilt, but we're going to do it on the floor or bed if you're more comfortable. So as you're lying on your back, you're going to roll we've done it on the chair before, we're now going to do it lying on our back. So you're going to roll your pelvis towards the ceiling. So you're lifting your bottom off the floor, or curling your bottom off the floor. So you're keeping your lumbar spine in touch with the floor. Okay, so a little bit of tension through your lower abs. And that can feel really quite uncomfortable to start with. But what we're doing is working the little deep muscles in your lumbar spine. Then you're going to come back to flat. And then roll your low back away from the floor. So you can put your hand under your back. You should be able to have a space there. And then push your low back into the floor. And then back to neutral. And then arching your back so you can put a hand under your low back. Okay, so that's just stretching all those muscles out in the low back to create a little bit of space and relaxation through those muscle groups. Okay, so come back to sitting. Take time getting up off the floor, especially if you have any blood pressure issues. Let the blood catch up with you. I'm just going to raise my plinth again so that I can bring you up to a sensible height. you go. So now we're going to just do some stretches to bring everything, settle it all down and try and work on your flexibility. So we've done the standing, we're just going to do some standing stretches. So calf stretch, you're going to take a lunge position, so you're going to take one knee in front of you and the other one out straight behind you and push your heel into the floor, and what you should feel is a bit of tension through the upper leg. If you need something to support you for balance, use the back of a chair or your worktop. Change position, so swap feet. So pushing your heel into the floor. Okay, and then you're going to put your hand, we're going to do a chest stretch. So you're going to put your bottom and just try and bring your elbows together behind you. That will just stretch out the front of the chest. Doing those weight exercises earlier on. Lastly, we're going to move on to balance. So balance is very important. It works well with strength and flexibility because it enables you to avoid any trips or falls. It helps with agility and can make you feel more secure when you go out for walks or you're alone in your apartment or your house. So standing on one leg, I'm going to start with your foot off the floor. We've had in the past our toe resting. We'll start up with our foot up in the air, and if you can take a moment, try lifting your hands up. The chair should be close by, the back of the chair should be close by if you need reassurance, or use the worktop, but try momentarily to take your hands off and test those balance structures. Okay, so change feet. So in the past we've had toe resting, but let's push it a little bit today. Lift that foot up off the floor, have it in front of you so you can see your knee. Start off with the chair under your hands so you can reassure yourself, but every so often just lift your hands, see if you can balance without holding on. If you start off with 2 seconds and then you need the chair and put your foot down, that's not a problem, we can build up from there. Okay, and then we're going to move on to hip hikes, which are exercises which help strengthen those muscles around the hips but also help with balance. So knee bent, you're going to let your hip drop out to the side and then lift your hip, this hip, so you're using this muscle to lift this hip and bring you back straight again. As you're doing this, keep your lower abs, a little bit of tension, and you're going to just let yourself drop down, let this hip drop, and this is going to lift you up. If you can do it without holding on, that's all the better. And then changing feet, same again, so let your other hip drop and use this side to pull you up. If you need the back of the chair, use the back of the chair. Okay, so I would aim to do up to 5 of those because it's about technique rather than repetition. Okay, so these exercises, ideally, you want to be doing them between 4 and stressful, and they shouldn't aggravate any symptoms. If you have any questions regarding any discomfort you're getting, aches or pains, or any issues that you'd like to ask me about regarding injuries or sports injuries or something like that, please email me info@stonehengeosteopath.co.uk. Thank you.